So it looks like Infinity's sent us a QX60. We're going to real soon. Here's the paperwork. Lots and lots of equipment. Let's take a look at the price. $57,520. Be here in a couple days. Don't go away. And here's where it's made for those interested in such things. We're at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out today. Well, it's already rolled out. A 2022 Infiniti QX60 SUV. And I'm hiding behind the walls here because we have a windstorm that just came in and there's nowhere else for me to stand without getting drowned out on the microphone. For now. I'm told this was redesigned for 2022 and it's based on the Nissan Pathfinder. Infiniti is part of the Nissan company, but this is a far better vehicle than a Pathfinder, I think. Certainly better looking. Under the hood is a proven 3.5 liter V6 engine that's been in the Nissan Infiniti inventory for some time. Not the smoothest around, but very reliable. 295 horsepower and getting fuel economy of 20 to 25 mpg, 22 overall. If you get this one with the four-wheel drive like we have. And finally, Infiniti got rid of those horrible CVT transmissions. It's got a real transmission. A 9-speed automatic with 9 real gears. Thank you very much. But the first things we do, we get to vehicles and check and see if there's a spare tire. And nope, this is a nice storage compartment though. Let's keep looking. Let's check down below. Yep, there it is. If you have to reach it, you're going to get dirty. If you watch our videos, you know another thing we do when we get a vehicle is take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. There'll be part 3 of this video after you do the show and tell and test drive. So if you're in a hurry, just fast forward, go to the end, and watch it direct. The second row seats do fold down, which is important when you have third row seating back there. You gotta have access somehow. And when the seats are placed up, there is a lot of room back here. You're in the habit of carrying large people. Let's step in the cabin, and I'm happy to see the doors come all the way down to the bottom. It keeps the rocker panels nice and clean, for the most part. The sun visors slide back and forth to keep the sun's rays out. Can't do that in a lot of vehicles, you'd be surprised. Nice to know we can do it here. Lots of room in the glove box, even more if you take out that owner's book and put it somewhere else. Maybe that back storage compartment where we were looking for the spare tire. That'd be a good place to put it. The usual cup holders and a big storage bin in between the 2 seats. Here's the drive mode switch. So take your pick, personal, sport, auto, or eco. So here we have our infotainment screen, which can be operated by touching direct. We're using buttons and a rotating knob down here. Now beyond this, a lot of the controls are, for lack of a better word, just different. Doesn't necessarily mean they're better. For example, programming your presets on the radio is very frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. It took me about a day to figure it out. And you have this goofy shift knob that's rather awkward to use until you get used to that as well. I mean, why make it so different? Why not something traditional? But hey, they want to be different. And learning how to operate and reset all the settings can take some practice. Overall, once you get the hang of it, after a day or two, you'll be fine, but it does take a learning curve. The quality of materials and workmanship, very good, but would look a lot better if we had a different shade than black. Maybe a tan or brown color, but not today. The only real beef I have with the cabin is this shiny chrome theme we have here. Fake or not, it still shines a bit too much. Right now I'm in the shade, so it's not an issue. Same with the steering wheel, but if you get out in the sun at the wrong time of the day, oh boy. Now we're out in the sun, you can already see some of the reflections going on here, going right in my eyeball. And here out in the sun, you see we're getting it off the steering wheel as well. This isn't a deal killer, it's just annoying. I guess if you have polarized sunglasses, might do away with this, but why car makers want to put shiny chrome in a cabin is beyond me. It does not belong there. Part 1 show and tell is over. Part 2, let's go out and do some driving. And by the way, here's what the camera looks like on our 12.3 inch touchscreen. Very good clarity. That was the front camera view. This is the rear. And now back to the front again. And while the shift knob takes some getting used to, I'm not going to complain because it's nice to have a real 9-speed automatic transmission instead of the previous CVTs Infiniti was using. Those definitely needed to go away. This is a big welcome improvement. The power steering doesn't have the feel of the old hydraulic systems, but it's quick and responsive, which is what most people want, without being too heavy or too light, so I don't think there'll be any gripes with this. And as we do all of our videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps around 15 miles per hour, see how the suspension performs on impact. Maybe if I'm not looking, we'll hit 20. So let's give it a go. This is a very smooth riding vehicle on the street, so I'm expecting some good results here. And here comes bump number 1. Pretty smooth. Here comes number 2. And the big nasty one. Fairly comfortable. Did feel a bit of thumping in the front, but nothing serious. Overall, it's a pretty smooth ride. I've not looked up the turning radius of the QX60, but I can tell you it's very, very tight the way you want it. About as tight as you can make it without scrubbing the tires, so fitting into a parking space will not be an issue. And speaking of turning circles, let's take the roundabout. See if we can spin this out. Holding pretty good. This 3.5 V6 has been around for a long time, offers lots of power. Not the smoothest around, but does the job. And these are nice brakes with an excellent firm pedal feel. For those interested in fuel economy figures, 1,355.4 miles, averaging 20.6 mpg, and mainly city commuting at 26 miles per hour. There you go. If you do a lot of highway cruising, this might be the vehicle for you. This is very, very comfortable, smooth, quiet with low wind noise, great stability, great driving position. Just a matter of how long it takes to empty that gas tank. My highway mileage has been around 22 to 23 mpg, around 75 miles per hour. But we're going uphill now, so that figure will take a big plummet. Here we go with the shiny chrome reflecting into my eyes again. Should have brought my polarized sunglasses. This is a pretty nasty, worn out road, but once again, the suspension is doing a great job absorbing the impact. Very smooth ride still. And now we're on to the real test, this dirt washboard forest road. I'm going to a cabin, and this is the only way to get there. And yes, the vehicle is jumping around quite a bit, but still pretty decent stability, and the shocks are doing a great job of absorbing the impact. Overall, this is an excellent suspension. Very well thought out. Ooh, that was a nasty one. I think the vehicle can take it, and I don't hear any rattles either, so the construction's pretty solid. Well, you want to be careful on this road. It's a big drop-off. No guardrails. That's why we have all-wheel drive, for better traction. That's what it's for. Well, this ramp would be a good place to launch a boat, except they don't have any water. Oh well. So what's my take on this Infiniti QX60 after a week of driving? I'm very, very impressed. Far better than the previous models. We get a real transmission this year. And some nice styling and modern controls. I like this vehicle. That ends part 2 of the road test. Part 3, we're going to take these headlights out in the dark and see what they do. So let's get that started right now. Alright, it's dark enough. I have the low beams on. I only see one headlight on at the moment on the far right. And those were the low beams. Now we got the high beam setting. Got 2 giant headlights going here, or bulbs I should say. So I guess that's the way it works. Low beam you got 1 bulb, high beam you got 2 on each side. And here we have the taillights. Long and thin, easy to see, that's what counts. License plate light. Emergency lights with the taillights on. Got it on the mirror, that's nice. Big ones on the front, no problem seeing them. Especially with the headlights off. Yeah, they're big enough. Easy to see with the taillights off too. When I open the door, I don't want the interior lights to come on. And there's a switch to turn off the interior lights at all times. I like that feature. If you need to turn the cabin lights on, wow, they're very bright. Ooh. Yeah, everything's lit up. No dinky bulbs here. And since we're inside, let's put the gear reverse and look at the camera. There you go. Now let's switch over to the front camera. Not sure why we need a front camera. Maybe when you're off-roading, it comes in handy. Climate controls light up, but unfortunately the infotainment controls and the control knob don't. You're on your own with that. Touchy feel. And gauge cluster lights up pretty good. And unfortunately, many of the power window controls and power mirrors don't light up. Come on, Infiniti, what are you trying to do? Save a couple of bucks on electricity here? And here we have the low beams on a wall 33 yards away or 100 feet, and the beam is way above the bushes. That's a good sign, and very bright. That's what we want, good widespread. Go to high beam. Yeah, got some real power here. And no complaints about the low beam setting. And down the dark, dingy street on low beam and high beam. Yeah, these are pretty good headlights. Not weak at all. Well, the high beams definitely do a good job of lighting up the road signs down the street or highway. Okay, overall, I'd say these headlights test and all the night equipment works pretty good. A few interior pieces that should be lit up but aren't, but hey, it's not a deal killer. Can't have everything.